Drew gets like, just give Drew a big box of shit and tell him to go out there and do something with it. Drew's unbelievable.
Here's something that they do want to know at Sportskeeda, so I'm going to throw this at you. Who are the male and female superstars of the year this year? What do you think? Anybody? I'm trying to think, and I can't think of anyone in particular that just jumps right out. I will say that CM Punk has put in a lot of work this year, so he's been interesting to me. But outside of that, I can't think of anything or anyone that really struck me this past year. You?
No, nobody's over. So let's rule that out. So what we have to really look at, Matt, is this: who's done the most with what they've been given? That's really what we have to look at. Who's done the most with what they've been given? And I've said this before. I think Solo Sikoa has improved leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Leaps and bounds. They give him absolute shit, and that's why he's where he is, but that is not on him. Bro, when you've got 5 Samoans in war paint bailing from 3 guys and a girl, you ain't getting the guy over. Period, end of story. So I think with what he's been given, and of course, Drew. Drew gets like, just give Drew a big box of shit and tell him to go out there and do something with it. Drew's unbelievable. I don't know. I'm sure he's getting paid a lot of money. I don't know how he's had the patience to keep his mouth shut for this far.
I don't either. Yeah. There's several of them that they have on roster right now, but I don't know how they've kept their mouths shut this long. One of those being when it comes to the females, and you and I talk about this particular female quite a bit, but it's because I believe she has the most creative talent on the roster. That's Chelsea Green. Yeah. And I think the problem with Chelsea, though, is that you don't use her correctly either. If you put her in the right position, she could be huge for your television program. Chelsea is a person that you want to watch. And I see this all the time. When you hear people talking about the shows, Chelsea's name comes up quite a bit. People say, I love what Chelsea did. And it's always, I love what she did, but you don't hear much about it because what she did wasn't that much. She was just doing the best with what she could, do with what she was given. Yeah. But I can't think of a single male or female when it comes to superstars that I thought were just outstanding this last year. I can't think of one.
Yeah, I can't. I think Tiffany Stratton has worked her ass off.
She has.
I think she's worked really, really hard. But even that character and those promos, she needs somebody working with her. Bro, listen, I produced pre-tapes for the first time last night in God knows how many years. And as soon as you start going, cut, bro, that's wrestling bullshit. Nobody would freaking say that. You wouldn't talk like that in real life. It's wrestling bullshit. And that's all Raw is. That's all SmackDown is wrestling bullshit. The entire nobody is standing there saying, bro, nobody would ever have a conversation like that. No, that's a wrestling conversation. And that's kind of tiffy. And nobody's really told her. That's not how you would really react. That's not what you would say, and that wouldn't be your delivery. Nobody's told her that.
And Rhea Ripley along the same lines, really, if you think about it. Rhea Ripley, she has a fantastic personality, but I don't think they put her in the best situations for Rhea Ripley. Just recently, she was in the ring with, was it Io Sky, I think, and they did a promo. One of the worst segments of, was it either Raw or SmackDown, whatever show it was on, that I've seen in quite some time. And again, it goes to the writers, Vince. You've got writers and the old crew still there delivering these stories that are not helping these incredible talents that are in the ring.
Bro, I'll give you just the perfect example. The JCW thing, I come in as an investor. Okay. And, Mac, the way I write a show is, Violent J's got a roster. Okay. I want to get everybody on that roster over.
Yep.
I'm not going to be on every show. I don't want to be on every show. So I got to get these other people on the roster over so like somebody, can be me when I'm not there.
Yep.
So like one of the things off the bat is like that, happens in storyline wise is a commissioner has to be replaced. And I'm like, guys, forget the what are you, freaking Commissioner Gordon? What, Mac, television. What is that role? That role is a showrunner. That person is the showrunner. Stop with the commissioner. That person is a showrunner. So it's going to be a showrunner. Why? Because you're going to run the show.
Yep.
It's stuff like that, Mac. It's I had to sit down with a young kid yesterday, and I know, bro. Here's the thing: when I work with these people, they don't know. They don't know, bro. You got the thing. I had one of my champions. He's walking around every promo, this and that, with the belt over his shoulder. I'm like, bro, no, stop. Stop, bro. Now we'll cover in the pre-tape. You're the champion. I said, bro, do you think Mike Tyson walked around freaking town? That you think UFC fighters are walking around with their belts? Bro, that's so freaking stupid. It's so ridiculous. Now, like I said, Mac, you got to make it clear they're the champions, but my God, bro, they're not walking around everywhere with the belt over their shoulders.
No, it's because it's not realistic. And
exactly.
you and I have been talking about realism in professional wrestling since we first started. And it's one of the things that wrestling is truly missing is the realism. Yeah. I hear too many times these promos, and it's the part that drives me crazy. You hear them delivering promos that were written by somebody else that's not said in the way that they would truly speak, and it's also not said in a way that a person would really speak if they were in an argument or a fight. I want to see two people get at it in the ring that are truly pissed off at one another, and I can buy everything they are saying.
Matt, can I tell you something like seriously, a little... it's this easy, bro. Here's what happens, Mac. You're at a pre-tape. Somebody's doing a pre-tape. So I'm getting ready. Okay, you ready? You ready? I'm waiting for them. This is what they're doing.
Looking at their notes,
memorizing the lines.
Yes,
that's what they're doing. Matt, this is all you have to do. Ready? Take that away from them.
Yep.
And say, bro, here's the situation. Go. That's all you have to do. Every single person at the WWE is standing there with their paper. And, bro, we've even seen some teleprompters. We've seen where we know people are clearly. All you got to do is take that away from them and say, bro, this is what's going on. Last week he did A, B, C, D to you. This is the first time you're seeing him. Go.
Why do we have scripted promos? Why is that so important? Because in the sport of professional wrestling, I came into it.
The big four.
Yep. Yes. See, I came into wrestling. It was, here are the bullet points. And this is what we want you to talk about. That's it. Now, I would go up to whoever I may be in the ring with, delivering this promo with, and I might say, look, there's a couple of lines. There'll be key points for you just to remember, and here's what I want you to do when I say this. That would be about the most of what we would discuss. I would not have a script. I wouldn't have 2 or 3 pages of stuff to remember. I would know that, okay, this is what I got to talk about, so let me speak how I would normally speak. And like you say, if there's not a script, you're going to speak like you normally speak.
That Mac, that all happened in the Triple H Stephanie era, because that did not exist when I was there. Absolutely not. And why did that exist during the Stephanie and Triple H era? Because they wanted to be in control of everything. We want to be in control of everything. And it's not changed since.